Hello students, welcome back into the another session of the software testing. Since last couple of lectures, we have been discussing about software testing. We started our discussion with some of the case studies. We learned from the case studies that why software testing is important, why it is crucial for the software. Then later on, we understood some terminologies which are associated with the software testing. In that, we also tried to understand what is fault, what is error, and what is failure, and how they are associated with each other, how they are related with each other. Later on, we also focused on the specification, software specification, what software specification exactly is. In that, we divided the specification into two parts. One is the functional requirement and another one is non-functional requirements. In that, we also tried to understand what functional requirements are, how to understand functional requirements, the requirements which are tangible to those we termed as a functional requirements, and the requirements which are non-functional means in the sense we cannot actually measure it, intangible requirements, to them we consider as a non-functional requirements. Now, let's move on to the next topic. As we all know what software specification is, now we will consider software specification as a base document. And based upon that, we will try to find out which are the things in the software can be considered as a bug. Always there in the industry, there is a confusion or there is a sort of a dispute or a cold war between the software developer and the software tester. The reason? Because software tester is always eager to find out the faults in the software, whereas software developer always tries to defend that thing. They always tries to defend their faults with certain beautiful words like a feature. So there should be a clear-cut idea and agreed upon rules which should be known to both software developer and software tester. And based upon that, they can treat particular thing as a software bug or a feature. So the first rule is that the software does not do something that specification says it should do. Now this particular rule says that if the specification says that particular thing should be there in the software, okay, but software doesn't have that thing, then that is also called as a bug. Means specification clearly says particular thing or a feature should be available in the software, but developer has omitted it. So that is also considered as a bug. Now let's take an example of a banking software. Now in the banking software, the customer's requirement is that there should be a user authentication by entering user ID and password. Along with that, there should be a facility of a OTP. So that is a two-way authentication. So what is the requirement of customer? That customer should be, means the user of the system should be authenticated twice. Once with the password and at the second time with the valid OTP. Okay, so in the specification it is clearly mentioned that the authentication should be done on two levels. First, what should you know? Means the password, and what do you have? That is the OTP with the valid mobile. So that is the feature that should be there in the software. This is what mentioned in the specification. But in the specification it is mentioned, but what the software developer has done, software developer has only included one feature, that is the user ID validation with the password. And he has omitted the second part, that is the SMS or OTP authentication. So now that is called as a bug. Though apparently it doesn't look like a bug, but it is a bug because in the specification it is clearly mentioned customer exactly wants it, but if you are not delivering it, then that is called as a bug. So that is the first rule to find out the bug. Second rule, the software does something that the specification says it should not do. Now in the second part, in the specification it is mentioned that these particular things shouldn't be done by the software, but developer out of his own mind is doing that thing and including that thing into the software. So that is also called as a bug. Now again we will continue with the same example. In the software specification, it is mentioned that user validation should be done on two levels. So the first one is user ID and then password, user ID and password, and then the second one is OTP. It is clearly saying that OTP should be delivered using SMS. But what other person has done, the developer has done, developer is sending the OTP through voice call. Now it is clearly mentioned that it shouldn't be done on that level. The particular OTP shouldn't be sent on the voice call, but it should be sent only on the SMS. So if it is clearly mentioned in the specification, then it shouldn't be done. So that is also called as a bug, because software does something whereas the specification says that it should not be done. Specification says OTP should be only sent through SMS, not on the voice call, but developer is sending it on the voice call also. So though it is considered as a bug, the reason because in the specification it was mentioned that this should not be done. So this is the second rule. Okay, to that particular thing we can call as a bug. The third rule, software does something that the specification does not mention. Now in this case, specification doesn't mention whether this particular thing should be done or should not be done, but software does that thing. Now to that also it is called as a bug. Now for example, in the continuing with the same application, that is a banking application, let's have an example. We will have a timing on the GUI. Now specification doesn't mention whether the timing should be given on the screen or not. Current date and time should be given on the screen or not. It doesn't mention about it, but software does that thing. Now that is also called as a bug. Now you may ask me, because this is an added feature, isn't it? It is not a harmful feature. Showing a date, current date and time on the screen, it's not a harmful, but software specification doesn't mention about it. Whether you should include current date and time on the screen or not, it doesn't mention about it. But the developer is actually showing date and time on the screen. So that is called as a bug. Now the reason why we are calling it as a bug is that though this particular thing is not mentioned over there, explicitly it is not required to show the date and time on the screen. Because if the developer out of his own mind is giving date and time on the screen, it will add up extra efforts on the testing team. Because if we will give that freedom to the developer to keep on adding the features what he wanted to have, then ultimately what will happen? We will skip the schedule, because always we are running with the schedule. The timing is given 80 to 90% timing is given for the development, and only 20 to 10% to 20% timing is given only for the testing. And if developer keeps on adding the new features when it was not required, then ultimately it will give the more pressure on the testing team to test those things. Because testing team obviously calculate their efforts based upon the development efforts, isn't it? Because when we will ask the testing team to design their test schedule, they will first see which are the things which needs to be tested. Now let's say suppose there are 5 features which needs to be tested by the testing team. But we have given the liberty, we have given the freedom to the developer to keep on adding the features whatever he wants. Ultimately what will happen? The testing team will need to find out certain time to test those things, and ultimately they will slip in their schedule. So that's why it is always suggested that extra features should not be added when it was not mentioned in the specification. So exactly what you have to do, just go with the specification, what specification says, and accordingly you have to do it. Now the fourth rule. The fourth rule says the software does not do something that the product specification does not mention, but it should be. Now the fourth clause is very different. Here in the product specification, nothing is mentioned whether this thing should be done or whether this thing should not be done, but it is implicitly assumed that these features should be given in the software. So it was not written on the specification, but it was assumed. Now consider when you are designing a GUI, okay, for any software, in the specification it was not written that it should have a minimize and maximize button, it should have a close button on the right hand side, top right hand side. It wasn't mentioned. But does that mean it shouldn't be there? Obviously it should be there. Though these things are not mentioned in the specification, that doesn't mean that minimize, maximize buttons or close button should be omitted. It should be there because it is implicitly assumed that normal or basic things of the GUI will be always followed by the developer. So here in this case, the software does not do that something, means software doesn't include these things, but actually it should be included. So that is also called as a bug, because implicitly it was assumed that the developer should know which are the basic things should be delivered along with the software, and if developer is not delivering those things, then obviously that is called as a bug. And the fifth rule is the software is difficult to understand and hard to use, or it is slow. Now ultimately that is a bug, isn't it? If after putting all my efforts, whatever software that I am delivering to customer, if customer is not able to understand it, what's the use of that software? Because customer cannot use it. It is very difficult for understanding the software to the customer. Or sometimes your software is really awesome, but it is very slow in the response. Nobody is going to wait for your software after clicking on the apply and OK button to take the response after 5 minutes, because everybody wants a responsive screen. So the moment I will click on the OK, I should have the notification on the screen, isn't it? So the software, if it is very slow, or if the GUI whatever we have designed is very difficult to understand, then ultimately that is also called as a bug. So these are the 5 rules, and we have to filter out, we have to put our software on these 5 rules, and based upon that we can find out which things are called as a bug and which thing cannot be called as a bug. Okay, I'll repeat once again. The first thing is software does not do something that specification says it should do. So here in this case, software specification says particular thing should be done, but our software is not doing that thing. That is a bug. Okay, in the specification it was mentioned that OTP should be sent, but our software doesn't send OTP. That is a bug. Then second part, the software does something that the specification says it should not do. So here software does something, whereas in the specification it was mentioned that it should not be done. So in the specification it was clearly mentioned that OTP should be sent only through SMS. But what the developer has done, developer has sent the OTP through voice call. So ultimately that is not useful, isn't it? Because that is going to add some extra efforts and that is not required. So that's why software does something that specification says it should not do. So if the specification says that particular thing should not be there, then it should not be there. Then software does something that specification does not mention. There was no mention about whether that particular thing should be included or not included in our software, but developer is including that thing. So this is not allowed. So our developer is putting up a clock on the GUI. That is not allowed. If it is not mentioned in the specification, then that is not allowed. The reason? Because if the developer is keep on adding the features into it, then ultimately that will put up the more pressure on our testing team to test those features. Because at the end, we want the quality software and nothing should go without checking. Okay, whatever the things are there in the software, that should be tested. Okay, so that is the ultimate aim of the quality assurance, isn't it? So nothing should be get without testing, and if you keep on adding some additional features, then ultimately that will collapse the entire schedule of the development as well as your testing. So that's why you should not add any feature out of your own mind. That is the rule. And if you add it, that will be called as a bug. Then software does not do something that product specification does not mention but should. There are some basic principles. The de facto standards are there. So in order to have these de facto standards, these things will not be explicitly mentioned, but it should be there in the software. Like the software should minimize, software should maximize, we should be able to adjust the window of the software. Sometimes if I wanted to hard close the software, I can have directly access on the close button. So those things should be always visible to the screen. Okay, but if it is not visible, if I will omit, minimize, maximize and close buttons, ultimately that will be called as a bug, because this is very basic feature. Nowhere in the specification it will be mentioned. Neither the customer will mention it nor the specification writer will write it, because it was already assumed that you will mention, you will develop that particular feature into your software. But if you are not developing that thing in your software, that feature in your software, then ultimately that will be called as a bug. And the fifth rule, the software is difficult to understand and hard to use. If whatever you have developed, if it is very difficult for the customer or a user to use with, or if it is very slow, then also that is called as a bug. So if you have followed all the four principles, but your software GUI is not easy, okay, it is not intuitive, so in that case, tester can call it as a bug. The reason, because you have followed all four standards, all four rules, but the fifth rule, in that you have failed. Your software, whatever the GUI you have designed, your placement of buttons, placement of your text boxes, those are not easy to use. Okay, so your customer is not able to use the software in proper way. So that's why it is called as a bug. And also, if this is a non-functional requirement, if your software is slow, ultimately nobody is going to use it, because nobody has that many patience. So if your software is slow, ultimately your customer will turn away and will use another software. So your software tester will call it as a bug, though everything is fine. So these are the 5 rules. I hope you have understood this. Now there is always misconception that software bug is nothing but the mistake in writing the code, but it's not true. Okay, so all the bugs are not because of mistakes in the code, but there are certain other reasons are there, and the most of the major reasons are nothing but the specification. So the major contribution for the bug is nothing but the specification. If the specification is not written properly and if it is wrong, 55% of bugs are getting introduced in the specification phase only. Then 25% of the bugs are getting introduced in the design phase, 15% in the code, and only 5% are others. So this particular survey says that only 15% of the bugs are actually introduced in the coding phase. Most of the bugs are because of some other reasons, and these are specification, designing, and some other things. Here is the relative cost of bugs. The sooner you will get the bug in your software and sooner you will fix it, that's the better in terms of its cost. So bugs which will be found out later on in phases, that will be difficult to fix, and also it will cost a much. Okay, so here is the graph they have given. Okay, so this is nothing but if we will get the bug, if we will able to find out the bug during the specification, then it will cost just $1. Okay, means it's a relatively very low cost. Okay, if we get the bug during the requirement, it will cost nothing. Okay, because during the requirement, if we are just writing down the things, and if we just thought that particular thing is a bug, we can just grab it and we can write down the another line. We can just write down the another requirement. So that is nothing but that will not cost anything if you got the bug on that phase. But if you got the bug during the specification, okay, after you have written the specification and then later on in the testing you got it, you are just testing the specification only. Okay, the code is not yet ready. So in the specification, if you got the bug, then that will cost just $1, because the reason, because yet other things are needs to be developed, isn't it? But if you got the bug in the design phase, then that will cost you more. The reason, because if you got the bug in the design phase, that means the bug was still there in the specification, but it was uncaught. You failed to catch that bug during the specification, and now it has been arrived in the design. Now what you have to do, you have to rectify your design, you have to fix that bug in the design, and accordingly you have to do the changes in the specification also. So that's why it will cost you more. If you got the bug in the coding phase, it will cost you $100. So it is like a exponential one. Okay, it will cost you more than the design phase. Now, if you are writing down the code, and while you are writing down the code, if you thought that this particular thing as a bug, then ultimately what will happen? You have to change the entire structure of your code, because that structure is now actually done on the design phase. So that design should be changed, and accordingly specification needs to be get reflected. So basically that bug was there in the specification. It was not caught in the specification. That's why it was coming into the design phase. It came into the design phase. It was still uncaught. So it got into the coding phase. Now in the coding phase, if you got that bug, you have to change the specification. According to specification, you will need to change the design, and then based upon the design, you have to change your code. So that will cost you more. And now this is ultimately a disaster if you released your software and then you understood that particular thing was a buggy one. So that will cost you many more $1,000. The reason over here is because now the customer is using your software. Your software is not only one software, but there are multiple replicas which have been distributed to multiple users, and now hundreds of users are using your software. And now if you got the bug, what you have to do? You have to change the specification, because that bug was still there in the specification. You have to change the specification. Accordingly, you have to change the design. Then you have to do that changes in the coding, and whatever the patch or the fix of that bug needs to be sent to all the customers. And whatever the agony or inconvenience from the customer side is there, that you are still not counting over here. So that is only your estimated cost. Okay, that is a cost that you will need to incur to fix the bug. But there are many hidden costs behind it. The ill reputation of your company, okay, the disaster that could happen because of the buggy software. Okay, so if the buggy software is in the flight control unit, or if the buggy software is in the, suppose in the train MOU, so in that particular case, it can cause a disastrous accidents, isn't it? So that will cost you thousands of dollars. Means you cannot actually calculate that hidden cost. So that much it is difficult if the buggy software is given into the hands of the customer. So always our process is, always our thought is to minimize this cost. Okay, because nobody wants to pay the cost for the removing the bug, and always our attempt is to minimize this cost, because the tester's role is to give the maximum profit and the satisfaction to the both sides, to the customer also and to the company also. Okay, so always make sure if there is a bug at all in your software, it should be get caught in the earliest phases. If you fail to catch that in the earlier phases of your software development, ultimately that cost will go on adding, and that will not go on adding directly, but that will go on adding exponentially. So that will cost you more and more. So always it is important to make sure the bugs or the defects in the software should be caught in the earliest phases of your software development. Okay, we have already crossed our time limit. So having said that, we have come to an end of this session. Hope you have understood this. Hope you have taken a part of it and you have convinced yourself that why it is important to find out the bug in the earliest phases of your software development. We'll meet you again in the another session. Till then, keep studying. Thank you.